Hi everyone, here we go again, and today we're going to talk about how we love so much PSO2. Yes, we're playing PSO2.
How much we love.
We love it so much. If everyone don't know what PSO2 means, it's Phantasy Star Online 2. So he's gonna give more information.
Yeah, just defer over to me. Yeah, Phantasy Star Online 2. So for those who do not know Phantasy Star or the Phantasy Star games, there are games like Final Fantasy that we have, and games like Dragon Quest, and different games like that. And then on the top of all of those games, you have Phantasy Star, which is better than all of those other games. I'm just kidding. So everyone has their own style. Everyone has their own opinions on what they like. Phantasy Star Online, or Phantasy Star, the series, is one of my favorite, actually my favorite game series of all time. But it did start around the same time that you had games like Dragon Quest, and you had like Final Fantasy, and so there are different. You see, if you see right behind me, actually, look here. If you see right behind me, we have the arcade machine and a preview of Phantasy Star 4 for the Sega Genesis. So there are a lot of different games in the series, but today we're talking about Phantasy Star Online 2. And it's the sequel to a very, very, very beloved online game, the first console MMORPG, which was Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah, and it's just amazing because when it comes out, we are using an Xbox, and we're like, what do you call that thing again?
Yeah, we had the closed beta.
And it's amazing. Before they're not having it yet at the computer, only on Xbox. And it's funny story. We got Xbox for each other just to play that thing because it's so amazing. I remember when we got married, first year of our marriage, and we have our own apartment back in the Philippines, and we're playing portable.
Yeah, Phantasy Star Portable 2.
Yeah, it's so fun. But this time the PSO2 is amazing. There's a lot of stuff you can do. You can play online with your friends, and you can even talk to them right now if you know Discord. Yes, and it's a lot, even if they are at different places, as long as you have the same game. And right now they have it in computer or laptop,
PC.
It's amazing because even if you're using Xbox and they're using laptop or PC, you can still play, and it's just amazing. Especially I remember him, we're just playing it like yesterday, and he's like looking at me and just laughing at me because he has with his group, because we have so much friends playing this one. You can only have four in your party to play. So because I get stuck with with buying clothes and clothes, like different style of hairstyle and the weapons and armor, I mostly ask him, kick me out of the group so you can just go on. Because right now I'm the only girl, I'm the only woman playing with the boys.
So we have like this alliance, and we all get together and we'll play or something, but we always have like an odd group, so there'll be like 5 of us playing at once, and we're like, okay, and you can only have 4 to a party, so it's like we're trying to get together in a group, and we're like, okay, so which one of us is gonna go solo? And it's like this weird thing, and then I'm feeling bad, like maybe
I always volunteer.
She always volunteer because she wants to go and mess around with her cosmetics and everything, and, hairstyles, and they have a bunch of hairstyles in the game for girls. They do. For the guys, they have all these. I mean, they have garbage hairstyles for the guys. I mean, you know, every other hairstyle looks like a perm or something, and it's like, I don't know, like, it's not really my style, but.
And the outfits, oh, it's amazing. The outfits is so crazy. I bet you guys, I'm not saying everybody, but we have some friends that most of the time playing games as a female character.
Yeah.
And don't get mad, but I know we have some friends who's playing female character just because there's more choices and stuff for female character than the guys.
yeah. The female characters always look better than the guys, right? We all look like turds, and so. But Phantasy Star, your character could still look cool. I mean, the male characters, but it's not like Terra. When we played Terra Online, all the dudes looked like crap, and you know, they had like, they even had more classes for the female characters, which was just kind of like, you know,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's like
so cool.
You know,
yeah.
but that's okay. But yeah, we like to get together and play Phantasy Star Online too. There's a lot of different, like Kimmy was saying, there's a lot of different quests and different things that you can do. There are different, I think there's like 7 or 8 different kinds of quests right now. We just, when we first started, we first started playing the Phantasy Star Online 2. It wasn't the first time I played when we did, because I had played on the Japanese servers back in like 2014, 2013. 2013 is when I was playing.
Oh, wow.
And but anyway, we played on the Japanese servers, me and my brother, and then when we heard about it coming to the States, we're like, wow, and it was like this huge thing, and so
he's so excited.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The whole time he's waiting. When is gonna come? When is gonna come?
And then they announced the closed beta, and when we found out about the closed beta, I was like, whoa, like, you know, and so we ended up we ended up signing up for the closed beta, all of us, and then I ended up getting I got an Xbox One so that I could do the closed beta, like play on the closed beta, and then
and we have some friends come over to our house. It's like a party. It's so cool, and the others, because they don't have that one, they could just keep switching accounts so they can play with it. Yes, that's before when we don't have that coronavirus thingy yet.
Yeah, before, it was actually right before this whole thing happened. But we ended up doing that, and we ended up getting together, and the whole entire day for the closed beta, we were just playing the entire day, and it was amazing. And they ended up having we ended up getting 2 Xboxes, and it was kind of a funny story too, because when we got, I gotta tell the story. So when we got the Xbox, I remember I got me a copy. I got it off of Amazon, and then it got shipped over. And then I was looking at Kim, and I was like, hey, you know, I really want to include you on this. And
he always includes me about the game. So.
Yeah, I try to, you know. And so I was like, yeah, you know, it'd be really cool if we can play together. And she's like, oh, I don't know, because, you know, we'd have to buy another Xbox. And we're like, oh, I don't know. And
it's just, you know, a waste of money, or it's just so expensive for me or something, but
so, but anyway, I was like, at the very last minute, I had the money, and I was like, no, let's get it, like, let's totally get this. So I went over to a GameStop, and it wasn't the one I normally go to, and I remember talking to the guy, and he was like, yeah, you know, we have a good return policy. If you're done playing it or something, just bring it back, and you can take it back to your other GameStop, and you know, just tell them you didn't like the system or something. And it's all like, yeah, okay. So I bought the Xbox. I'm telling on myself here. So I bought the Xbox, and then we had the closed beta, and then the following, I think it was like Monday or something, I show up to the GameStop I normally go to. And see, there's a story about this, okay? So these guys, they did me wrong before, so I was like, this is it. So I go over there, and I give the Xbox to the guy, and I'm like, yeah, you know, I don't like the system, you know, and which I'm not lying. I don't care for, you know, like the Xbox. I never got an Xbox. There's a reason why, but I was like, yeah, I don't like it. You know, it's just a mess, you know. So anyway, I give him, he's like, okay. So he gives me a full refund. Yeah. And I was like, yo, like, I was like, you know, so, but I felt bad. Like the guy, he looked like he was kind of disappointed, you know. So I felt bad, and I was like, okay, you know, I'll put some of the money on a pre-order. So I pre-ordered I used the money to pre-order a copy of Final Fantasy VII Remake, the Steelbook edition that they had for GameStop. So
yeah, it's just so fun. And after that trial that we had, because I'm the one who's using that Xbox that he brought back to the store, and then after that, we really looked for another Xbox, and we finally got one. Now I'm using it, and this one is really amazing because you're really gonna want to take your time to make your own character, how it's built. And it's funny because I remember we're seeing John Wick now. He really look like John Wick on the game.
so it's okay. Yeah, I'll explain. So in the game, there's a very extensive like character customization. So you can create like whatever you want. I remember during the closed beta, we even saw someone, they went through the effort to create Doug Dimmadome. And it's funny, it'd be hilarious if that person like saw this video one day, like, and we would talk about that. So during the closed beta, we see this guy, you know, running around, Doug Dimmadome, with this, you know, long hat, you know, and so he's just kind of, you know, running around in the server.
It's really cool.
Yeah. And so and then when we had like the we were playing on the challenge mode, then we saw this guy who his name was John Wick. Like that was the name of his character, and he looked just like him. Like he had the face, and you know, like he had, you know, like the scruffy, like, you know, beard and the hair, and it was like, whoa, like, and he was just going around, you know, just shooting up stuff, and we're like, oh my gosh, it's John Wick, like, you know. And so that was really cool. But
yeah, it's amazing. You can really make your own character, especially now, because as we really don't wear stuff like fancy stuff or something, but in the game, at least you can do something cool where you can renovate. Is that the word for that? I think it's for a house.
Renovate. Yeah, so if you decide one day you want to become a house, then you can renovate yourself.
No, you can change everything. You can do whatever you want. Oh, and everything, how you look like, even your eyes, and even your butt.
Yes.
Everything is perfect as long as you made it the way you want it before you really go on to the game. Because if you go in, there's so many choices you wanted to do, and before you change it, you have to use SG, and SG takes time to get. So better make your own style at the beginning itself. So yeah, and you can also have your own house, not house, like space.
You get your own room,
Your own room, and you can bring everything here and there, chairs, beds, style, even music, and the theme of your room is crazy. And I really like also how you have your own alliance, where you can change everything, you can do everything, you can share stuff, and if you plant the tree, I don't know, water the tree.
Yeah, then it gets bigger.
Yeah, it's bigger, and it gives you point or makes a boost or for the rare drops or everything. And it's amazing. You're gonna like it, especially if you wanna play with your friends, even if they're not with you. Just jump on and for you to talk, make a Discord.
Yeah. So it's like, so we made a, like she mentioned, we made a Discord channel to chat. You could also chat in game, but we've never really used the chat system in there. We just made our Discord, and we just have our friends go in private Discord, and we just use that. So but yeah, we just wanted to talk about Phantasy Star Online 2. one thing that I wanted to mention about the series even as a whole, but this game as well, is it just has a unique take on like the science fiction and fantasy like mixture. It's like the story is very different. It has the inspiration from anime, but it's only been in this game more so. This game, and I think the Phantasy Star portable games in the universe game more than the previous titles. But definitely it has its own unique way of handling sci-fi fantasy or fantasy sci-fi. Even more so than I would say like Star Wars. Star Wars, I think it takes some inspiration from that. Even the original game on the Master System back in like 1980 something, Phantasy Star 1, it took inspiration from Star Wars, but it's really cool. You can go to different planets and you explore the planets, and people say it's a Monster Hunter clone, but that's a lie, because Monster Hunter took their gameplay from this, and I mean, obviously I'm not talking to the developers, but you can tell where they've gotten the same inspiration. In Phantasy Star, however, you don't just go and fight bosses the whole time like Monster Hunter. In Phantasy Star, you go through actual areas, like places, like stages or dungeons or something, and then at the end, then you have the boss. And the bosses aren't just like half thought out. These bosses they're tough. Amazing. They of course they're more tough as you go on later on in the game. But you know they're strong. You have to think about what their weaknesses are, things like that. Just like in Monster Hunter, but it's not just focused on the bosses, and so it's really cool.
It's so cool also because if your party is cool, you can just fish over there or mine, because there are also quests where you can just fish or mine, so you can get your rings and boost up yourself. You can gain your name update. What's that called? I forgot, but it's so many things going on in there that you won't get bored, because every week they have a new quest that's specifically only for that week, and then sometimes they put it on the quest so you can take it if you wanted to, so you can gain more. And there's so much what do you call it, you can be a ranger, a braver,
so many classes,
and you can just switch if you wanted to. You can even get a bot with you. So and the bot, so she's talking about, so you have this little buddy that you take around with you, a little like companion, like machine thing. It's a bot they call a mag, and they had it in the original Phantasy Star Online. And basically you just feed it items, and then it grows up, and then as it gets stronger, it adds to your stats for your character, so you can customize your stats through the mag. And it's cool because the mag will do things sometimes like heal you, or it will sometimes attack enemies, or you'll get like when the mag has a meter photon blast, where once it gets to when you take enough damage and do them enough damage, it'll like have the songs like the sound, it goes like ring, and then when that sound goes on, then you know it starts to shine, and then you can use the photon blast. And the photon blast, I would describe it, for those who know Final Fantasy or more familiar with the Final Fantasy series, it's kind of like a limit break that your mag does. So it's like cool, kind of cool. You have your own kind of like limit break kind of skill. So and the level of game is crazy. There's hard, very hard, super hard. It's crazy. But it's funny because if you go to the, I don't know, maybe it's just me because I already level up, that if you go to super hard, it's not that hard anymore, because you know what you're doing now. You know what's the weakness of this different monster or this different bosses. It's just so cool. And right now we're only like more focusing on rare drops and trying to level up our sub class.
Right. Because right now, our main class, like I'm a hunter, hunter class, and
I'm braver.
And Kimmy's a braver, and we're already. Well, I'm level 75. I've been level 75 for a while, and she's 74, and that's the highest. 75 is the current level cap for the characters, but that's gonna actually get higher in August, because in August they're putting out the new update for episode 4. And
that's cool. And before you go to that level, you have so much stuff to do, and there were so much people you have to talk, especially if you're playing the quest. You're gonna be so into it. It's amazing.
The combat is really, really good. The combat is very fast paced. And I mentioned Monster Hunter before. With Monster Hunter, the combat's very deliberate, right? So in a Monster Hunter game, you're trying to guard, you're trying to dodge, you're trying to, get on top of monsters, or you're trying to hit them with your weapon, and they give you a sense of like scale. These monsters are huge, and you're like this small little guy with like all this armor on you. But with Phantasy Star, it definitely carries a little more imagination with it. Instead of trying to go for realism, it's like super fast paced and super like over the top. You're like running really fast. You're going around and smacking up monsters real fast. When you fight a boss, you're like dodging, and you're like dodging like super fast, and you don't have too many of those dodging frames that you're just getting rolling around and like trying to get up. And,
it's so cool. It's easy. You even have the dance style. You can dance. You can crouch. Hold them.
The emotes.
The emotes are funny also, and it's nice. It's cool. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. So, yes.
Yeah.
So
talk a little bit about that, and that was what we wanted to share today. The main reason, I guess, is because Phantasy Star is it's not a very well-known series, even though it came out at the same time as Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest, which are more popular than it. Sega I guess they didn't have too much confidence that it would do well in North America, so they didn't push it out very much. Even the way they advertised Phantasy Star Online 2 was so shoddy. It was like, you hardly heard anything. Like, Xbox did a better job at showing it off at E3, and then it was like, after that, it was like, we didn't hear about Phantasy Star until they mentioned the closed beta, and even then, it was like we didn't get a real date until it was coming out like 2 weeks later. So it was like, people kept asking, when is it coming out? When is it coming out? And they're like, oh, we don't have any information. And then they're like, oh, it's coming out in 2 weeks. And it was like, like, the way they've marketed Phantasy Star, it hasn't been so good. So a lot of people don't know the series. They're not familiar with it. But it's really good. And so that's what we wanted to share about Phantasy Star Online 2. If you have played the game before and you like it, drop a comment about it. If you want to know more about it, you could drop a comment and we'll respond and tell you a little bit more about the different games. I wanted to do a video on the entire series, but we just wanted to mention this one, and I actually brought a couple of physical games that I just happened to have. This one didn't even come out in the US, so this was kind of cool. Yeah, I got this imported straight from Japan, and then this is an old copy of one of the older games, Phantasy Star Universe. So eventually I want to do a video about the series as a whole, and we'll do that on this channel together, and we'll talk about it. But for now, that's all we have.
Yep. So okay, guys, see you guys next time. Bye bye.